bits in the announcement that have got things that perhaps you'd think about are more general, say maintenance than perhaps ongoing work. What's the difference between those and what's being announced today?
Well, today is about the launch of the Wrexham Vidston Line Enhancement Programme for stations along this important route. Wrexham is classed as one of 5 principal interchanges in Wales, and we'll see over the coming months stations along the Wrexham to Vidston line improved. We'll see them undergo a thorough deep clean, a refresh in terms of paint, in terms of the platform covers, in terms of seating and so forth, to make sure that they are more attractive places and safer places for people to be in. And it's part of Transport for Wales' £194 million station upgrade plan, which will see significant changes at many of our most important stations and, of course, some of the smaller stations that require investment.
Speaking about smaller stations, locally there's been a petition launched regarding service between Cabot and Raven. With the preference being placed on a service between Cardiff and Holyhead. What's your thoughts on that?
Right, so the crux of the problem is that if we want to increase the number of services, we have to weave those services into the national timetable. So Transport for Wales isn't the only operator that operates, for example, on the South Wales line. On the North Wales line, you've got GWR on the South Wales line. We have to make sure that our trains, when they're departing, match up with their timetables as well. The only way that we can get an additional train to leave from Cardiff in the morning is by putting it on at 7:02 in the morning. And then we have to make sure that it gets to Chester at a certain time where it can get in and then get out without disrupting the other planned changes to the timetable. That means that it has to get from A to B in a certain time frame. That then in turn leads us to have to make a difficult decision of how many stations it can stop at.
On the local level, in the last week we've seen a petition launched which is criticising the changes to service on a local level, with the inference that a Cardiff to Holyhead service has been preferred over it. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, we're committed to increasing the number of services on the network, and one of those services is an additional express service between South Wales and North Wales. The only time that it can leave Cardiff is at 7:02 in the morning, because we have to weave in all of these services with other rail operators like GWR. It also has a tiny window to get in and out of Chester Station, which means that we have to make a difficult decision of where the train can stop, because it can't stop at every station, because that adds on time and it would then miss the window, so the train service would be unviable. But I do recognise the importance of making sure that people living and using those stations, living near them, using those stations in between, shouldn't be put at a disadvantage. So we're going to be working with them in the short term to make sure that they do have connectivity, but then we're also going to be working with them longer term, looking at the May timetable changes next year to make sure that they do enjoy those increasing services that we promised.
In the last couple of weeks, there's also seen the first birthday of TFW. What do you think, from your personal view, been the successes and the challenges over that 12 months, and has it gone as you'd expected?
Some elements have come as a surprise. Right at the start of the franchise operation, we had a major challenge with the storm that took place and the resulting wheel flats, they're called. It's where trains have to be taken out of operation in order to undergo maintenance. That was on an unprecedented scale. So what we did then was implement the £40 million upgrade to the existing fleet. So we've replaced a lot of the wheels that are on the trains and added to them systems that prevent wheel flats from taking place. So this autumn we protected the fleet against what happened last year. So that was a huge undertaking. It was undertaken really rapidly over the summer. I think as well, TFW as a new organisation have hit the ground running. We've had a major undertaking in terms of the concessionary card scheme, replacing all of the bus passes, which after a glitch has actually gone incredibly smoothly. More than 300,000 people have now applied for that. We've seen a major scheme of station enhancements initiated as well right across the network. Improvements to begin with in terms of how stations look and feel, but longer term as part of £194 million of investment, we're seeing stations upgraded with improved services and facilities. I think it started incredibly well. There have been challenges, there have been glitches, that would be expected, but when you compare TFW's operation to the rest of the UK network, I think it stands in very good stead.
We are, a stone's throw, I suppose you could say, from Mould Road, obviously the racecourse there, the massive floodlights, etc., etc. It's always been mentioned that with the Gateway project that's been part funded with the Welsh Government in partners with the University Council, etc., that the station would be part of potential regeneration. Is it possible to give a few words about any progress on that or updates?
Well, we've signed the partnership agreement. That's ready to be formally launched. That brings together all key stakeholders that can drive forward regeneration of the Mould Road area. The station will be, if you like, the beating heart of that programme, Wrexham Station, and it operating as not just a railway station, but also as a bus interchange will be incredibly important in attracting investment in, both in terms of investment from new homes as well as new business premises, seeing the redevelopment of the Kop End. I'm really excited about the potential for the area, potential for this part of Wrexham to be a regeneration project of excellence, and I think the whole of Wrexham really are crying out for us to work together to deliver it.
From a Wrexham Bidston line perspective for the users of that, it appears that 150s have been pulled towards South Wales and replaced with 153s, which apparently last time they were on the Wrexham to Bidston line couldn't keep with the timetable and themselves were obviously pulled as well. Are they suitable I suppose trains to be using on that route?
Well, TfW's received representations about this. I know that the concerns are being considered as a matter of urgency, and we'll make sure that people who use that particular service can expect services to be conducted in a way that they are punctual and that they are reliable. I recognise in years gone by that particular service over the autumn and winter period has been unreliable and people haven't been able to depend on it as they should be able to. We want to make sure that that's avoided. Now, the type of rolling stock, the type of train that's used may be an issue. If it is an issue, if it's found to be an issue, TfW will seek to rectify that and address it. There's a major challenge for train operators right across the length and breadth of the UK, which stems from the fact that several years ago, train operators were told not to order new diesel trains because the future was going to be based on electrification. Of course, a huge number of electrification projects were then cancelled by the UK government, which in turn led to all of those train operators suddenly putting in orders for diesel trains. Now, there are only a few manufacturers of those units, and the problem has been exacerbated by one of those manufacturers being unable to meet the contractual deadlines on delivery. That has led to trains being put under tremendous strain in terms of capacity. There's no bias for any one part of Wales against another part of Wales. What Transport for Wales have to do is look at the specific routes, look at where capacity needs to be addressed most, where there are concerns about safety of passengers because there are so many people trying to get on trains, and carriages have to then be, rolling stock then has to be diverted to ensure that we're meeting that demand. Now, there is no bias to one part of Wales over another part of Wales. This is a major problem that stems from the fact that delivery of rolling stock of trains has not taken place as was expected.
You've obviously been here this morning with Minister Ken Skates, so you're able to just give us a few words about what this morning's been about?
Today, Ken's been here to announce further 280,000 funding for stations from the Neston downwards, including Wrexham, for sort of refurb, deep clean of our stations. This is on top of the £500,000 that was announced, I think, about 6 months ago, for real refurbishment here at Wrexham General Station. So really welcome news for rail travellers like myself.
We briefly spoke with Ken about the Mould Road Gateway project, because we're obviously just a stone's throw away. That is in theory meant to kind of also improve Mould Road racecourse and also the station's transport hub as well. Are you able just to speak about where that's up to in terms of progress?
Well, I think it's progressing slowly, I think is probably the best way of phrasing it. You're right, this is a real hub. It is a gateway into Wrexham, isn't it? This is what people first see when they come in. So linking everything up along here, I think, will be great for the town. So lots of partners involved, obviously the council, Glyndŵr University, Transport for Wales, Welsh Government. Really important with the football club as well that we get this progressing well.